Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Anupma Biology Classes. This is the first video in the series of cell biology. Before this, we discussed on the human physiology and its part. So from today's video, we will discuss and understand about the cell, its structure and function. Here, we are discussing the part from the CBSE class 11 syllabus. Now, we come on the topic that is the cell, which is the unit of life. So, the question is, what is the cell? Cell is the fundamental, structural and the functional unit of life. And we know that each cell is capable of independent existence and also performing the essential function of life. Now, the type of organism. Here, there are two types of organism. First is unicellular organism, where the body is formed of single cell, and the examples are amoeba, chlamydomonas, etc. And in the multicellular organism formed by the many cells, and the examples are humans, animals, etc. In this picture, you can see different types of unicellular and the multicellular animals. In the first picture, you can see paramecium, in second euglena, in third fungus, and in the fourth is a multicellular seaweed. The study of cell structure, chemical composition and function is called cytology. So, it's a branch of science that deals with the structure, chemical composition and function of the cell is known as cytology. The term cell was introduced by an English scientist, Robert Hooke, in his book Micrographia, which is published in London in 1665. And he examined thin slices of cork under a primitive microscope that there are tiny empty compartments in the slices. He called them cellulae, now we termed cells, and thought them to act as a passage for conducting fluid. Now, the main differences in the unicellular and the multicellular organism, and in this picture you can see the differences like in the unicellular, body is composed of a single cell, while in the multicellular, body is composed of numerous cells. In the unicellular, the division of liver is at organelle level, while in the multicellular, division of liver is at cellular, tissue, organ and the organ system level. In unicellular, lifespan is short due to heavy load of work. In the multicellular, lifespan is long due to limited load of work for each cell type. In unicellular, an injury to cell can lead to death of an organism because their body is made up of a single cell, while in the multicellular, injury or death of some cells doesn't affect the organism as the same can be replaced. In unicellular, sexual reproduction if present occurs only once during the life, while in multicellular, the sexual reproduction is repeated many times during the life. So, these are the main differences in the unicellular and multicellular organism. Now, the cell theory, and it is the one of the most fundamental generalization of the biology. Cell theory was put forward by the Schleiden and Swan in 1839 in their paper, and the name of the paper is Microscopic Investigations on the Similarities of Structure and Growth in Animals and Plants. Now, it states that first one, that is the all living things are composed of a minute unit, that minute units are called cells. A cell is a mass of protoplasm containing a nucleus and bonded by a cell membrane, and in many cases cell wall also. All cells are basically alike in structure and the metabolic activities, and the function of an organism as a whole is the result of the activities and interactions of the constituent cells. So, although cell theory is correct explanation of cell, but it doesn't apply on all organisms. So, because of this cell's principle, and this cell principle is the modified form of the cell theory. So, what is the need of modification in the cell theory? Because Swan held that cells couldn't arise spontaneously, then Rudolf Virchow found that all living cells arise from pre-existing cells. It means omnicellular or cellular. So, the better observational instruments and study techniques in the 12th century have revealed many details about the cell structure and function. This necessity is responsible for the modification in the cell theory. So, according to the cell principle, life exists only in cells. Living objects are composed of cells and the cell's products or are multinucleate mass of protoplasm. Cell maintain homeostasis to remain alive and each cell is capable of regulating its vital process. Now, in the modified form, the cell theory applies almost fully and universally to the life and has therefore been given the state of cell principle or cell doctrine. It is also known as modern cell theory. Now, in this picture you can see the level of organization which starts from the cell. Because cell is a unit of life, here the cell combine to form tissues, tissues combine to form organs, organs combine to form an organ system, and the organ system combine to form an organism. So once evolved, the multicellular organism gradually become complex. So, to the way of multicellularity, in the picture you can see atoms combine to form molecules, molecules form cells, cells combine to form tissues, tissues form organ, organ forms organ system, and organ system forms organism. So, the multicellular organism formed by the unicellular organism, and this has become possible by remaining together of cells formed by division of parent cell as occurs at present in the segmentation of the zygote. Now, a multicellular organism has three types of cells regarding their capacity to divide and differentiate, in which the first one is undifferentiated or stem cells. So, what is the undifferentiated or stem cells? These are unspecialized cells which by mitotic division give rise to new cells for the formation and maintenance of tissues like germinal epithelium, Malpighian layer, meristematic cells, bone marrow, zygote, etc. Second is differentiated or post-mitotic cells. And these are the specialized cells formed by the unspecialized cells by changes in the structure and function during development and growth of an organism. And the third is dedifferentiated or transformed cells, and these are specialized cells reverted to a more generalized actively dividing state. Now the cell culture. In this picture you can see the nuclear transplantation in frog, where an unfertilized egg which has no nucleus because it destroyed by UV light, and an adult frog which skin cells we will take in culture dish. Then the nucleus from the cell in the pipette injected into the egg. Then the egg start to grow normal blastula which develop into tadpole. So according to the cell culture experiment which illustrate the concept of dedifferentiation and redifferentiation, in this, matured non-dividing cells are taken from a multicellular organism and grown in a sterile nutrient medium. The cells regain the capacity to divide and produce a large population of cells. The cells aggregate in clusters, undergo differentiation, form tissues, and finally new organism. So, what is the advantage of dedifferentiation? Dedifferentiation is very obvious. It is means of regeneration in lower animals and of healing in higher animals, including humans, and of propagation in case of plants. Now, the cellular totipotency. So, what is the cellular totipotency? The capacity of a living nucleated cell to differentiate into any type of cell and thus form a complete new organism, or to regenerate any part of an organism, is called totipotency. And the examples are a fertilized ovum, cells of a small excised portion of planaria which is capable of regenerating a complete new planaria. A cell is totipotent because it has a full genetic information in its nucleus, and this information is expressed when required. Like all the cells of an organism are formed by mitotic division of a zygote, that is fertilized egg, and therefore have the same genes. In this picture you can see that zygote after the mitotic division form morula which is totipotent. It means capable of giving rise to any cell type or a complete embryo. Now, this blastocyst is pluripotent, which means capable of giving rise to several different type of cells. That is the inner cell mass which is formed the circular circulatory system, nervous system, immune system. And these are the unipotent. It means they are giving rise to only one cell type. Now, the application of the totipotency of the plant tissue, and here the first one is the quick propagation of useful plants because of the totipotency. Raising rare plants that are difficult to grow and form seeds. Multiplying sterile hybrids, rapid production of new varieties, and the production of virus-free and the chemical-resistant varieties, or the application of the totipotency. Now, the compartmentalization of the cell, which means the different elements of the cell, and in case of a cell, a typical cell composed of three different type of elements, in which the first one is cell membrane, which is a lipoprotein coat and responsible for passage of substances. Second is the cytoplasm. It is a watery solution and function as a seat of metabolism to provide energy and materials for the growth and reproduction. And the third is nuclear or genetic material, which stores and transmits information to direct the synthetic activities of the entire cell and consists of DNA. After all these three elements, membrane-bound compartments, that is organelles present in protists, fungi, plants and animals. Now, on the basis of compartment, cell is of two types, that is the prokaryotic cells and eukaryotic cells. In prokaryotic cells, organisms do not contain membrane-bound compartments in the cytoplasm. And the examples are blue-green algae and the bacteria. In this picture, you can see the structures which is present in the prokaryotic cells are pilus, capsules, cell wall, cell membrane, ribosomes, chromosomal DNA and the flagellum for the locomotion. Here, no membrane-bound compartments. And the second is eukaryotic cells, and the organism have membrane-bound compartments, in this case in the cytoplasm, and the examples are protists, fungi, plants and animals. In this picture you can see a complete structure of an animal eukaryotic cell. Here there are basic structures, that is membrane-bound compartments are the mitochondria, ribosomes, cell membrane, peroxisomes, nucleus, Golgi body, lipid droplets, smooth endoplasmic reticulum, free ribosomes, and many other organelles are also present. Now, cells and their organelles are measured by the fractions or multiples of a millimeter. And cell act as an open system because it allows entry and exit of the matter and energy. So it take up matter like the food, oxygen, water, salt for the sustenance, growth and division, and energy to operate metabolic process. And it also turns out water and heat. Now, the general organization of the prokaryotic cell, and if we talk about the general organization of the prokaryotic cells, you know that these are the primitive cells and appeared first time 3.5 billion years ago. It is most primitive cells. It is essentially a single membrane or the one envelope system. It generally have a size range of 1 to 10 micrometer. The common shapes are spheres, that is cocci, rods, that is bacilli, commas, that is vibrios, and helices, that is spira. So the bacteria are pleomorphic. It means they have different type of shapes, which you can see in the picture, that is the Bacillus, Coccus and the Spirulus. The bacteria are stained with the Gram stain. So what is the Gram stain? Gram stain is weak alkaline solution of the crystal violet or Jeannettine violet. There are two types of bacteria, in which the first is the Gram positive bacteria and the second is Gram negative bacteria. The Gram positive bacteria which retain the stain, and in the Gram negative bacteria which lost the stain. So this is because of the cell wall structure. In case of Gram positive bacteria, thick cell wall present. So it doesn't let the alcohol or acetone solvents to penetrate. Now in this picture there are common prokaryotic cells arrangement, here name, description and illustrations. So like the coccus, which is look like a single coccus. Diplococcus is the pair of two cocci. Tetrad are the grouping of four cells arranged in squares. Streptococcus is a chain of cocci. Staphylococcus is a clusters of cocci. Bacillus is a single rod-like structure, and the Streptobacillus is a chain of rod. Now the outer covering, and the outer covering has three layers, in which the first one is slime layer and capsule, which is present outside the cell wall in the gram-negative bacteria. There may be a coating of macromolecules called glycocalyx. It may be loose gelatinous sheath termed slime layer or a thick and tough covering known as capsule. It is formed of polysaccharides but also contains polypeptides. Second is the cell wall, which protects the cell, maintains its shape, provides support and strength to it, and keeps it from bursting in hypotonic media. Prokaryotic cell wall consists of peptidoglycan that contains polymers of modified sugar. Many antibiotics like the penicillin prevents the formation of peptidoglycan for the bacterial cell wall, while the lysozymes present in the saliva, nasal secretion and tears which hydrolyzes peptidoglycan. Now the third one, that is the cell membrane, which controls the movement of molecules into and out of the cell. It also bears respiratory enzymes. And here you can see the cell membrane has infoldings, and this infoldings is known as the mesosomes. Now the cytoplasm. It contains variety of inorganic and organic molecules. This is the structure of a blue-green algae in which you can see the lipid droplets, nucleoid, protein granules, ribosomes, photosynthetic lamella, phycobilisomes, plasma membrane, cell wall and gelatinous coat. In cytoplasm, ribosomes present which occur singly or in rows called polyribosomes or the polysomes, and the function of the ribosomes is in protein synthesis. So it provides site for the protein synthesis. Mesosomes are the infolds of the cell membrane to bear respiratory enzymes. The photosynthetic bacteria and the blue-green algae have membranous thylakoids or photosynthetic lamella to hold pigments. These are formed by the cell membrane. And here gas vacuoles are also found in the prokaryotes. Now the genetic material. DNA is enclosed by an envelope and lies in direct contact with the cytoplasm. It occurs as a single chromosome called prochromosomes or a genophore, which many prokaryotes have plasmids. There is no nucleolus. At place of nucleus, nucleus is present in prokaryotes which contains genetic material in highly coiled form. Now, appendages. In case of prokaryotes, the first one, that is the bacterial cells, has flagella that may be scattered over the entire cell surface or confined to one or both ends of the flagellum. This flagellum is made up of protein, that is flagellin. It has two main parts, that is the basal body and the filaments. Basal body has also two parts, that is shaft and hook. Flagellum spins the body in opposite direction and pushes the organism in the forward direction. Many bacteria bear short tubular non-motile process called pili or fimbriae on the surface. These pili are made up of pillin protein. The use of these appendages in attachment to the surface to food or to one another, whereas fimbriae are responsible for the mutual clinging of the bacterial cells, forming a film on the liquid or other thick aggregates. In this picture, you can see the different type of appendages in the prokaryotes. In the first, that is the paramecium, cilia present on the whole body, which is responsible for the movement. In amoeba, pseudopodia present, which is responsible for the movement in case of amoeba, and in euglena, flagellum present for the locomotions. So, in all these, you can see cilia, pseudopodia and flagellums are the appendages in prokaryotes. Now, the biological activities in prokaryotes. Cytoplasm doesn't show streaming movement or cyclosis in the prokaryotes. Phagocytosis, spinocytosis and exocytosis do not occur due to the presence of cell wall. Mitotic apparatus is not formed during the cell division. Replication of DNA is normally continuous throughout the cell cycle. Both transcription and translation occur in the cytoplasm. Some prokaryotes have the ability of the nitrogen fixation, and the respiration in prokaryotes may be aerobic or anaerobic. Nutrition may be autotrophic or heterotrophic. So this is the complete organization in the prokaryotes. Now the general organization of the eukaryotic cell, and you know that eukaryotes have the vast structure as compared to the prokaryotes. So the eukaryotic cells is essentially double membrane or two envelope system. The eukaryotic cells occur in protists, fungi, plants and animals. It has two states. It may be undergoing divisions to form daughter cells, that is dividing state or mitotic state. And when not in the process of division, it is known as non-dividing state or interphase. Eukaryotic cells usually ranges from 10 to 100 micrometer. In human cells generally ranges from 20 to 30 micrometer. A single-celled alga, Acetabularia, is about 10 cm long, which you can see in the picture. This is the structure of the Acetabularia, where body has three parts: cap, stalk, and root. The size of the cell is determined by two main factors: its requirement of the nutrient and oxygen, and the regulating ability of its nucleus. Now, on the basis of number, there are two types of organism. First one is unicellular, where body is made up of a single cell, and second is a multicellular organism, where body is made up of many cells. This is the structure of the eukaryotic cells, in which you can see a different organelles which is present in an eukaryotic animal cell. According to the structure, a cell has three main components. First one is the cell membrane, which is composed of a lipid protein complex. It keeps the cell's content in place, gives form to the cell, and controls the entry and exit of material into and out of the cell. Now the cytoplasm. This is the cytoplasm. In the picture you can see, and this cytoplasm has the two parts: ectoplasm, which is present outside, and the endoplasm, which is present inside of the cell. And there are two main kinds of structure in the cytoplasm. These are the organelles and inclusions. So the organelles are organized structure in the cytoplasm, having specific functions necessary for the metabolism of the cell. These are known as living or protoplasmic structures, and the examples like the mitochondria, Golgi body, centrosome, plastids, vacuoles, etc. So in the picture you can see, this is the mitochondria, lysosomes, nucleus, Golgi body, ribosomes. These structures are present in a eukaryotic cell. Now the inclusions. These are capable of growth and multiplication, which is described as non-living or deutoplasmic structures, and the examples like the reserve food material, pigments, granules, crystals, etc. And here you can see the structure of a plant cell. And the third is the nucleus, that is the bonded by the nuclear envelope, which contains nucleoplasm. In the picture you can see which nucleoplasm has chromosomes and nucleoli. And here the nucleopore is also present, which is responsible for the movement of matter and energy from the nucleus to the cytoplasm. Now the biological activities and the eukaryotic cells. Cytoplasm often shows streaming movement or cyclosis. Phagocytosis, pinocytosis and exocytosis are common in protist and animal cells. Mitotic apparatus is regularly formed during cell division, and the replication occurs only in the S phase of the cell cycle. Transcription and translation occurs in the nucleus and the cytoplasm respectively. Now the viroids and the prions. Viroids is present in a plant cell and prions is present in the animal cell. Viroids are the teeny bit of nucleic acid without a protein coat, while the prions are teeny protein particles without nucleic acid. Both are infectious. Viroids causes plant disease, while prions causes neurodegenerative disease such as Kuru in humans and Scrapie in sheep. Here you can see a cell and their different parts. So the cell is divided into the two parts. First one is the prokaryotic cell and the second is eukaryotic cells. Now this eukaryotic cell has also two parts: unicellular organism and the multicellular organism. Now this multicellular organism has also two parts: animal cell and plant cell. So this is the general structure of a cell and different type of organism. Now, a comparison of the prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells on the basis of the different labels. So, the first one on the basis of organism. Prokaryotes are the monerans, that is eubacteria and archaebacteria, while the eukaryotes have protists, fungi, plants and animals. On the basis of label of organization, prokaryotes are the single-celled organism, while the eukaryotes are the single-celled or multicellular, usually with tissues and organs. Single cells only occur in case of the protist. On the basis of typical cell size, prokaryotes are smaller in size, that is 1 to 10 microns, while the eukaryotes have large size, that is 10 to 100 microns. On the basis of cell wall, almost all have the cell wall in case of the prokaryotes, which is made up of murine, while in case of eukaryotes, fungi and plants made up of cellulose and chitin respectively, and cell wall is absent in case of the animals. Organelles are usually absent in prokaryotes, and in eukaryotes many different and specialized functional organelles are present. On the basis of metabolism, prokaryotes are anaerobic and aerobic, while the eukaryotes are mostly aerobic. On the basis of genetic material, single circular double-stranded DNA present, while in eukaryotes, complex chromosomes, usually in pairs present, and each with a single double-stranded DNA molecules and associated proteins which contained in a nucleus. On the basis of mode of division, binary fission, mostly budding, is present in case of the prokaryotes, while in eukaryotes, mitosis and meiosis using a spindle followed by cytokinesis. Now, this is the structure of the eukaryotes and prokaryotes, which you can see. In case of the eukaryote, nucleolus present, which is absent in prokaryote, and at the place of nucleus, nucleoid is present in prokaryote. In prokaryote, the outer membrane is capsule, which is absent in eukaryote. In prokaryote, flagellum present for the movement, which is absent in the eukaryotes. And ribosomes are present in both cases, but in prokaryotes, mostly 70S type of ribosomes present, and in case of eukaryotes, 80S type of ribosomes present. Now, the difference between the animal cell and the plant cell. So, the animal cells has many small temporary vacuoles, while in the plant cell, large permanent central sap vacuole present. Plastids are absent in animal while it is present in plant cell. Mitochondria are numerous in animal cell, while it is present in fewer in plant cell. Contractile vacuole are present in animal cell, while the contractile vacuole absent in animal cells. Chromosomes are relatively small in animal cells, while chromosomes are relatively large in the plant cell. All animal cell contains lysosomes in animal cell, while the plant cell have lysosomes are less prevalent. In animal cell, the carbohydrate is stored in form of glycogen, while the carbohydrate is stored in form of starch in the plant cell. In animal cell, tight junctions and desmosomes are present between the cells, while in the plant cell, tight junctions and desmosomes are lacking. So, this is the end of the lecture in which you understand about the unicellular and multicellular organism, prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells, animal cells and plant cells, generalized structure of the eukaryotic cells and the prokaryotic cells. Now, the next video will be on the organelles of the cell, in which you understand about the each and every structures and their functions in the cell clearly. So, if you understand this video, please like and share it with your friends and subscribe to my channel Anupma Biology Classes. If you have any questions, any queries or any suggestions, you can ask in the comment section below. Thank you for the watching.